The Big H Podcast, tune in now. Conversations that'll wow. Laugh and learn, stay a while. Let's explore that Hilton style. From the highs to the lows, every story just explodes. Mike's got questions on the go, diving deep from head to toe. Every week the guests align, sharing moments so divine. Stay with us, the pace is fine. Every episode you'll find. The Big H Podcast, tune in now. Conversations that'll wow. Laugh and learn, stay a while. Let's explore that Hilton style.
Hello and welcome to the Big H Podcast. I'll be your host for today. My name is Mike Heise, and with me is Amanda Dudley, who is the Assistant Village Historian for Hilton. And we're going to talk a little bit about America 250 and its celebration in Parma. So Amanda, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
And as I said earlier, that she is the Assistant Village Historian for Hilton, and you work closely with Dave Crum. Tell us a little bit about how you got involved in that role.
So I joined the Parma Hilton Historical Society in 2020, and that's where I met Dave. And I've always been interested in history and wanted to pursue that further. It just never worked out as a career. So I got in touch with Dave and asked if there were things I could help him with, and I kind of went from there. So got involved with being in the village offices and with the historian files, and I've just fell in love with it.
And you once told me, Mike, I'm not really a resident from Hilton. I didn't graduate from Hilton. Has that affected your ability to get involved in the community at all?
Oh, not at all. It's interesting to learn new things. And yeah, I didn't grow up here, so everything is kind of new to me. But I find it really fascinating, everything that I'm learning.
Did you marry into a Hilton graduate?
I did not.
You did not?
Nope.
Now, you said that you always had an interest in history.
Yeah.
When you went to college, did you pursue a degree in history, or was it something else?
I did, yeah. I have a bachelor's degree in history from Roberts Wesleyan College. It's now university. And then I had a minor in accounting. So I ended up career-wise falling back on the accounting, but history has always been a passion for me.
Now, you're the assistant village historian, and Dave Crum won't be around forever. Do you ever think about taking on it full-time once he moves on to greener pastures?
I would love to. That would be my goal. But that's all going to kind of depend on career-wise where I am by that time. But yes, I would love to do that in the future.
Now, history, do you have an affinity to recall historical facts and figures like that? I mean, you're an accounting major too, so I think dates and numbers are pretty common to you.
Yeah, pretty common. It really just depends on the passion. Like certain things I might not be as polished in, but certain areas of history I really find fascinating. I love women's history, particularly, but just in ancestry information, genealogy, the cemeteries are a big passion of mine. So those kind of things.
Tell me a little bit about the Parma cemeteries and what you've discovered and your work with that.
Yeah, so we have multiple pioneer cemeteries here in Parma, and over the years they have kind of fallen in disrepair. They are maintained overall by the town. The town mows them and does some brush cleanup, but that's about it. So myself and the Historical Society has taken it upon ourselves to do more work as far as restoring the headstones there. And then as we do that, I start to do some research into the people that are buried there. And I find it really fascinating to be able to research and share their stories. So then we give tours once a year and we've been trying to hit each one of the pioneer cemeteries. We're not finished yet. We've done about 4 tours, I believe, so far. But the goal is to get each one of them and then kind of get the history, people interested in their local history and the, amazing people that are buried here.
Can you give me an example of one of the people that are buried in one of the cemeteries that you really globbed onto their story?
Yeah, so there's one guy in particular, and I'm going to credit John Toll with getting me interested in him. His name is Hastings Bender, and he is buried in the Sage Knapp Cemetery, which is on Clarkson Parma Town Line Road, kind of right around the corner of Peck Road. And he was a lawyer. He was one of the first lawyers to move into Rochester before it was a village in the early 1800s. And he kind of became an entrepreneur. He would move on from there to Brockport when the canal opened. And he, from there, he was a lawyer there. He was a merchant there, then became a farmer and moved to Clarkson, right around that area where the cemetery is, before he passed away. And that's where he's buried. But the most interesting thing about him is that he lived in Rochester during the War of 1812. And he saw a risk of the British coming down the Genesee River and attacking the village, because there had been some plundering before, early on in the war. And so he got the citizens together to build a fort at what is the Lower Falls in Rochester. And it's the only fort that was ever built in Rochester. They brought a cannon there to kind of ward off the British, because if they were to come up the Genesee River, that's the first falls from the lake. So they would have to stop there and get up and climb up. So he put the fort there with the intention of attacking them if they were to come up that way. And so during the war, the British did stop there, or did stop on Charlotte, right around the entrance of the river. And they were kind of warded off there, so they never really made it up to the Genesee River. So that fort actually never saw any battles, but it was named in his honor, Fort Bender. And unfortunately, it's gone now. It was just a small fort, early 1800s. That whole land is, I believe that's Lake Ave now. Okay. It was kind of filled in, and I believe it's like the back of a parking lot of like a Dunkin' Donuts or something today. Like that whole land was filled in for commercial use. But when they were filling that in, somebody found some stones that they believe were the remnants of what the fort was there. And so if you go on the Monroe County Library's website, you can see a picture of the stones that they found. But I just find it really fascinating that the only fort we ever had in Rochester was named in his honor, and he's buried here in Parma.
That is really, really interesting, and I'm kind of glad you brought that to our attention.
Yeah.
Have you had people tour that cemetery yet?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we did. We did that about 2 years ago.
Now, I've seen pictures and short videos of your cemetery tours. Do you still dress up when you do that? Like,
yeah, we have the docents that I get involved in the project. They have the option of dressing up. They don't have to, right. Because it's really just about telling the stories. Mm-hmm. But I feel dressing up kind of helps add to the ambiance mm-hmm. of the tour. So yeah.
Who are some of the docents that have helped you with those tours?
So we have had Nancy Laporte, Margaret Wheelahan, who I understand will both be on your podcast mm-hmm. soon, John Foster, Dave Crum, Tom Berger, Ken Freeman. A lot of the people that are on the Historical Society basically all get involved. But we've also had other people from the community when they find out that their relative is there. Like Deborah Cole Myers. She lives in Greece, but one of her descendants is buried in the Hoosick Cemetery, which is that big hill that's on Ridge Road in Manitou. Mm-hmm. And when we did that tour, she participated and was able to tell the story of her ancestor, which made her very happy. And we also restored their headstone that year. So she was doubly happy about that as well. So it's good to get them.
It seems like you're bringing a lot of pride to the families that are buried there and their histories and even repairing their headstones and making sure that it all looks good.
Yeah.
So we talked a little bit about some of the deceased people.
Mm-hmm.
What were some of the recent activities or programs that you've been involved in with the Parma Hilton Historical Society lately?
So lately we are planning for the celebration of America 250. So we have a whole group of people that are excited about having some of these events to celebrate the birthday of America. So that's kind of been our big project lately.
Now, you said that you always been had a passion for history.
Mhm.
Has the founding been one of those?
Yes, it has been one. I would say not my number one. I've never been a huge military history fan, but especially this year, learning more about it, and especially after watching the Ken Burns documentary. I'm not sure if you've seen that.
Dave Crum highly recommends it.
Yes, it is very good. It's about 12 hours long. So my husband and I watched it over a week-long period of an hour here, an hour there kind of thing. But it really got me fascinated into it. So I'm very excited this year.
Is it on Netflix, or do you have to purchase a DVD of it, or what?
It was on PBS, and so if you have the streaming option of PBS, I think you can watch it at any time. But they're replaying it, I believe, all year long, like on Fridays and that kind of thing. So
Now, you just said that military activity wasn't your number one. What is your number one fan? Is it women's suffrage and women's history?
yes, women's history, and then also the cemeteries and genealogy work would be my number two.
Have you done a lot of genealogical work with your own family background?
A little bit, but honestly, it's kind of fallen to the wayside. It's something that I really want to do more of, but the local projects have kind of taken over for me. So I've been doing those.
I did a little bit of research with you, and I found an article about you and your husband doing some work on the Erie Canal. Erie Canal. Tell us a little bit about that.
So last year, my husband and I bought a canal boat, which if you've ever seen those boats that they rent on the Erie Canal, they're long, low boats, and most of them are rented out of Macedon. We were able to purchase one of those. So we it's kind of like a camper on the water. You step down in, and it's got your kitchen and bedrooms and bathroom. And so we rented one 2 years ago and fell in love with it, and then decided, I would love to own one of these. And then we had the perfect opportunity to purchase one. So we did. And then this past summer, we have been up and down the whole Erie Canal with it. When I retire, I would like to take much longer trips, because eventually we can go to New York City, but that would take quite a long time.
Is your husband a big history buff too?
I wouldn't say a buff, but he's fallen in love with certain things because of me and my passion.
Smart man.
Yeah. But he loves the Erie Canal, and so that's what he's been latching onto, at least this past year.
Tell me a little bit about the history of the Erie Canal and how it was so vital in establishing New York State.
Yeah, so prior to the canal, there wasn't a great way to get commerce into the state or out. So you had, farmers in this area and more Western New York where they couldn't really get their goods anywhere. And also you had people, the migration of people. It wasn't as easy to come into the interior of the state from New York City. So when DeWitt Clinton decided to build the canal, it was kind of thought of as crazy. It was very expensive. It was going to take a long time. But the idea behind it was genius in the fact of getting commerce and people in and out of the state. And also it goes all the way from New York City to the Erie Canal, Lake Erie. So it brings people even further into the interior of the country. So once it was completed, not only do you have commerce, but you have people, you have ideas, you had religions going through, it just kind of expanded the whole state and the country ultimately.
How long did it take to build?
It was started, I can't remember the exact date. It was finished in 1825.
Okay. Right.
But I can't remember the exact date it started.
And you say commerce, that's another word for trade, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what type of goods and products were commerced along the Erie Canal?
You had everything. You had not just, farming, goods. You had people, you had clothing, just everything went through.
Now, you said you and your husband purchased a longboat. Is what are they called?
It's a canal boat.
Canal boat.
Yeah.
Do you rent it out, or are you just exclusively for the Dudley family?
Well, for now, it's just exclusive. Down the road, we might rent it out. We're just having a lot of fun with it right now. And yeah.
It sounds fun. I mean, some people have campers.
Yeah.
Some people have tents. You have a canal boat.
Yeah, it's like a camper on the water.
Yeah. Okay, now switching back to America 250, what specific role do you play in that planning?
So I kind of headed up the committee to get it started. I decided at the end of last year that we needed a committee to actually get some things done, because I had looked into what Shirley Cox Husted, she was our former town historian back in 1976 when they celebrated the 100th anniversary, or 200th, 200th. And she did a lot that year. She had parades, she had events, and I thought we should really do something big like that, try to get her legacy to continue and to get the community involved, because it's a big deal. So I headed up the committee and got a bunch of people involved from the Historical Society, and now we're getting people from Parma Rec and the library, and just trying to get the whole town and village involved in this.
I don't want to get too far out ahead of your skis. What's some of the things you have planned to do?
So we have a bunch of things planned. We don't have these things fully formalized yet, but one of the things we're doing is one of the first things we're doing is our Historical Society book club is reading the book 1776. And on March 10th, we're going to have a book club meeting so that people that have read it can discuss it. So just kind of getting people to understand some of the basic early history of the war. And we have the village historian's office. There's a window display in there. Right now, we have one of the Parma's Revolutionary War veterans highlighted there. And the goal is all year, we're going to highlight a different veteran. So we have 16 of them. So there'll be a little bit more than one a month until we get to the end of the year and give all of them credit. We're also going to have a window display in the library's window display in March on the Revolutionary War and Parma's veterans involved. We're going to do some flag placements at the grave sites of the veterans. We're going to have walking tours that people can access on their own time to be able to go see these veteran stones, more highlighting our cemeteries. We're gonna do some involvement with the Parma Summer Smash, and we're gonna keep that a little bit under our vest for right now, as far as exactly what we're gonna do. Right. But we're gonna get involved in Memorial Day as well. We're planning a time capsule for the town and the village. So we're gonna reach out to different communities, groups that might be interested in putting something in there. They did one in 1976, and we were recently able to kind of get a peek at it. So we're going to kind of display that as well so people can see what was put in there in 1976. And we're planning a picnic, tree dedication. We'll get involved at the end of the year with the trunk or treat that the rec department does on the, having Revolutionary War costumes, and then again with the holiday on Main Street. So we're getting involved with that as well. So we have a lot of really exciting things planned.
And I like it how you're keeping it a little close to the vest.
Yeah.
When information starts to come out, how's the community going to receive that information? I assume there's a website or flyers or things like that. Yeah,
we're going to have it on our website at parmahiltonhistoricalsociety.com. And then we're also going to put it on our Facebook page. The rec department will also be involved, so they'll be sharing a lot of the same information through their channels. We're getting the library involved, so there will be like flyers that people can pick up there. So we're going to kind of put it everywhere so for people to see. So far, I mean, you're still in its infancy of the planning. What are some of the challenges that you've discovered or some of the excitement that you have? Yeah, there's a lot of excitement with what we're finding with the community wanting to get involved in this. We're trying to keep it kind of small and have people participate in certain ways because our committee seems to want to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And, the more people you have, like in the initial planning phase, it can get kind of crazy to get it organized.
Yes.
So, that's why our committee has specific things that we want to do. And then we're going to reach out to these other groups to see, where can they fit in to participate with us? Maybe the Boy Scouts, and other groups, the Legion, the Lions Club. We've recently reached out to them. So where we can fit them in so they can participate, and yet we're not, too many hands in the pocket kind of get crazy.
Yeah, I totally see that. Tell me about some of your other committee members that are in the nucleus of it and what their plans are to do.
Okay. Yeah. So, Margaret Wheelahan has done a great job at, she's putting together an America 250 coloring and activity book for the kids. And I don't want to steal her thunder because I know she'll come and talk about it. But it's amazing. So when you guys see that, you'll love it. And Nancy Laporte has been helping her with that. Ryan Rockefeller with the rec department. Again, I don't want to steal his thunder, but he's doing a lot of things with the Summer Smash and actually a little idea for babies that are born in 2026, a little gift for them. So I don't want to steal that either, but that'll be fun because Shirley had done that as well back in 76. And then we have Jerry Pickett and Ken Freeman are planning the time capsule portion and the picnic and possibly a tree planting. So that'll be a whole event. And we have the library. I've gotten them involved in some things. And we're going to have our banquet. We have our annual banquet in May every year. And so our Liz Mastretta is working on doing decorations and planning for that. So we have a lot of people.
It's a major undertaking. Do you have any time for family and your own job?
It is very time consuming this year. Last year, my whole life was around the Erie Canal because it was the 200th anniversary of the finishing of the canal. So this year will be Revolutionary War.
Have you been involved in any of the more local celebrations recently?
With the Revolutionary War?
Well, I remember seeing a picture of at Christmas time and you were parading around.
Oh, yeah. So at the holiday on Main Street that the rec department put on, we dressed up as Revolutionary War era. The men had the tricorn hats on. I dressed as a pioneer woman. And as kids were walking around, we asked them some basic Revolutionary War questions. It was a little trivia contest, like who was the first president, some simpler things. But we were just trying to get the community interested in this upcoming year. So we did that, and then we gave away little prizes for them. So that was kind of our kickoff to get people questioning, why are they dressing like that? What is this about,
What are some of the common misconceptions about the Revolutionary War?
I don't know about what would be a common misconception. I can say what I found interesting. Like more
recently, probably heard some answers that were like good and some were like, ooh.
Yeah. One thing I found really fascinating that I didn't remember so much is, when you're a kid and you learn about the war, you kind of have that little overview, I didn't realize how many young people were involved in the war, like really young teenagers.
Me neither.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised at, kids maybe 12, 13 years old fighting in the war. They had a lot of these people were just farmers. They had no military training. They just had a passion and they wanted to help fight. So it was amazing to me that we were able to accomplish what we did with the untrained military that we had. And that we really would not have won the war in the long run if it hadn't been for like France getting involved and helping us financially. But I just found the passion and the horrible conditions that they had to go through amazing, but very inspirational that they still had that devotion to keep to keep fighting throughout the horrible things that they were going through. And I think the misconception I had too was that it was easier to win. I think we kind of gloss over all of the losses that we had, and especially early on, like there were so many battles that we lost over and over, and to still have that passion to keep fighting was very inspirational for me.
I mean, war was like 8 years long, right?
Yes.
And that's 2 presidential terms. It seems like history moves so quickly now with the internet and social media.
Right.
I just couldn't imagine being in battles for that long.
Right. And they had to take breaks over the wintertime because you just couldn't fight. So you would have months of fighting, and then you'd have months of we just sit around and wait, and then they come and then they fight again. I mean, that's, to me, partly why I think it took so long.
Maybe you don't know the answer to it, but pretend that you do.
Okay.
When they were in those intervals where they weren't fighting, what were the British doing in our land at that time, the colonies?
Well, early on, they had taken over a lot of the cities. So they had New York City. They eventually took over Philadelphia. So the soldiers, to my knowledge, were just hanging out and enjoying themselves, where you had, our patriots were more in these winter tent camps and suffering cold and, kind of on the outskirts. So I think, as far as I'm aware, the British and the Hessians that were fighting for them were just kind of enjoying their time in the cities.
Look, I mean, George Washington, Paul Revere, some of the big names. And you said you had an affinity for women's history. Any women come to mind, or any in general, that how the women contributed to the victory?
Yeah, so there's a really interesting book about women being involved in the war, which I am going to read, have not yet, but so I don't have specific names, but what I found interesting and what I have learned is the participation of the women to keep the men going in the camps. So cooking, providing them clothing, washing, they traveled along with them, which I think I didn't realize before. And if it wasn't for them, the men wouldn't have been able to keep fighting and doing what they were doing. So the women were really crucial. You also had women that were kind of undercover spies and, finding out information to share. So they were really crucial to the war.
Crucial today, too, to keeping society going.
Yes.
You brought some papers together and you were like, I don't know how much history of anything that you'd like to bring up from your research, or anything that you brought along that I haven't brought out?
Yeah, I just had some information about our veterans. And I, don't need to get into every single one of them, but we have 16 that are buried here in our different cemeteries. So we have them in the Wright Cemetery, the Smith Dunbar, Sage Knapp, Castle, which is over on Peck Road. We have 3 in Atchison. We have 2 in Parma Corners, and the most of them, we have 4 of them on that Hoosick Hill Cemetery. And then we have 5 veterans that we know lived here at one point, but they're not buried here. So we will be honoring them too in a 4th of July celebration that we're planning.
Love it.
So we're going to have a celebration in one cemetery to celebrate them all, because it'll be too spread out to do it in every single one. But we're going to honor each one of them and give a little bio on their history. So I'm excited about that as well. And hopefully some music. We're looking for people that can play taps or drums or, that kind of thing. So if anybody's interested, reach out to us, because we're looking for that.
Well, it kind of leads me right into my next question. How can people become members of the Parma Hilton Historical Society?
Well, they can reach out to us on Facebook, and they can reach out to us on our website. We have the applications to become a member right on the website. And they can call our phone number, which is also on the website. And then our museum will open again in the spring. In April, we'll be open on Sundays from 2 to 4. So anybody can stop by and get an application then.
Don't you have a Revolutionary War uniform, or is it a Civil War uniform in the museum?
We have Civil War.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it a Civil War musket? Because I think there's a musket in there too, isn't
There will be soon.
Okay.
So that is forthcoming. Dave Crum will probably come and talk about that
Okay.
at some point. But we're going to have a Civil War display with a gun and a hat and some other artifacts of a local gentleman here that was involved. So we're really excited about sharing that.
Now, the Parma Hilton Historical Society also puts on programs once a month. When and what is your next program about? Do you know that?
So our programs are on the second Monday of every month, and they're at the community center on Henry Street, and they're in the Ingham room, which is the last room on the right if you come in from the parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
And so we do those at 7:00, and they're all different topics. Our last one was on the Erie Canal. And our next one is going to be on a Rochester history topic, but the specifics I'm not sure about yet.
And you can also catch that on the YouTube channel because you arranged to have those videotaped by Emma Watt, who's doing a internship through the Parma Hilton Historical Society.
Yes. Emma's been really great. She's getting involved with us. She videotapes our presentations so we can put them on YouTube. And so those that have not able to attend can still watch them, or those that want to see them again can watch them.
She's Hilton's up and coming Ken Burns. Well, Amanda, thank you very much for joining me on this episode of the podcast. I look forward to talking to you in the future about America 250. Knowing you early on, you're a go-getter. You got that organizing gene in you. Those of you, if you liked what you saw, hit the like button at the bottom so you can subscribe to the channel so you don't miss, and turn on your notifications so you don't miss an episode. Follow me on X, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Rumble, or wherever you get your podcasts. This has been Mike Heise with Amanda Dudley, saying goodbye for now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The Big H Podcast, tune in now. Conversations that'll wow. Laugh and learn, stay a while. Let's explore that Hilton style. From the highs to the lows, every story just explodes. Mike's got questions on the go, diving deep from head to toe. Every week the guests align, sharing moments so divine. Stay with us, the pace is fine. Every episode you'll